love when a brand new set drops. You see none of the new set, and you hop in a time machine, and Chimera is just running an absolute show on this event. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So Refined Gaming had their double header case tournament, and we're going to be looking at the results for the later event. And this is stunning to me because there were three, I repeat, three Chimera versions in Top Cut here. Now, I've got my notes tell me nothing about a Chimera take back over here, but we're seeing this deck smashing through the meta again. I'm genuinely intrigued by that conversion rate, because that tells me that players are kind of trying out some of the old reliable, and they're making it work? Question mark? I'm genuinely intrigued. Now, we also had two Dragon Link for this event, which I'm not all that surprised to see that Dragon Link is kind of being one of the more meta contenders. That's a pretty standard story that we end up seeing out of a lot of these events. But, to see that, you know, we don't have a lot of our standard competitors here is interesting. Now, we also have an Unchained version sitting at the dinner table here. That's pretty standard. Tier Elements also doing its thing. But the one challenger that makes this whole event genuinely intriguing to me is Pendulum. Pendulum came out of nowhere here and said, hey, you know, I know that you guys wanted some Rescue Ace, you wanted Labyrinth, you're more standard meta. No, you're going to have to deal with the fact that somebody challenged the norms of the game and said, hey, this is what we are going to be doing going forward. And I like that. I like that a lot. So, no Rescue Ace, no Labyrinth, none of your heavy-hitting meta contenders, but instead, everybody in the room decided that Chimera looked like the challenger for this. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. Yeah, that's a Fiend monster. Yep, that's the first thing that you see on the first list, is the Barrier Statue of the Abyss. I swear, it's just one thing or another out here with these incredibly interesting lists. And Chimera Illusion branded, cheesing around and playing a Barrier Statue. Now, the fact that there were so many Chimeras in the event here might have taken away from some of the tech choice that this card was, but I think that that does mean that, hey, this was worth exploring. Yes, this did end up showcasing and working out, but very, very interesting to see that the Barrier Statue of the Abyss actually was relevant, especially if you run into Rescue Ace and they can't really do anything about this. Plus, you know, you're fusing and interrupting on their turn. Yeah, seems kind of good to me. Rob, you're just justifying this. Absolutely I am, and it's great. Next up here, we have this Dragon Link list. Okay, so this is, first of all, standard Dragon Link. Playing triple black metal as you should be, maximizing pretty much on as much Bysteel garbage as you can is still the deck. Double talents to convert and do your thing. I see that we are side decking the Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. You gotta love the fact that if you need to burst through your opponent and, you know, start doing what you need to do, aka the end of turn procedures, mission accomplished. Nothing else really sparks too much out of this to me. I do think that you could maybe mess around with ratios a little bit, but obviously you have thrust and things to be able to toggle into, you know, the cards you need. That's why you can get away with playing the double thrust in the main. Not really much of an issue, at least in regards to that. Also, you know, Droll and Lockbird being sided. Yeah, this is standard Dragon Link. I see nothing wrong here. Looks just like a normal day in the office. Next up here, we have, this looks very familiar to me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but we're seeing, maybe it's the Brand Fusion, maybe it's a Super Polys, maybe it's the cross outs to do its thing. It couldn't be the fact that we had 2 duelists entering into the room here with double Barrier Statue of the Abyss and pulling off double top 8s. Nah, couldn't be me. That would make no sense, right? Well, that's the story that I'm seeing out of this event here is more and more Barrier Statue of the Abyss showcasing that heavy aggression that you can put on your opponent with the statue seems all the better. Maybe we should visit this. Back in my day, I never thought a Dark Barrier Statue would see competitive play because every good deck was a Dark monster anyway. Where's no SP Little Knight down here? We'll continue on my day. Next up here is our Pendulum list. Okay, so getting into the sauce here, with Triple Wings Goliath, that's pretty standard. We are playing the Pendulum Evolution. I see that we were feeling kind of saucy from some of this little stuff. We're not playing the DDD stuff, though, in this, which I do like. It is kind of cool. I see that we are doing the Odd Eyes stuff, which is fine. Triple copies of the Dragon Shrine. Do want to be able to get access to Darkworm, as is tradition. And, of course, we're playing 1 copy of the Soul of the Supreme King Celestial King. I don't think a lot of builds do tend to play this, but it is kind of cool to see this as one. Most of your power is going to come from Time Pendulum Graph and Star Pendulum Graph just being stupid good cards overall. So that's your Pendulum experience out of this event. Definitely an interesting challenge to what, the meta kind of has to offer here. And next up, we have our next Dragon Link. And I see that we are playing the Samsara Dragon, which, once again, kind of cool. I like when we can see different little tech choices and things kind of showing up out here and doing its thing. And of course, because we're playing the Gamma, we do get to play the Black Meteor Dragon to drop the terrible brick out of the deck. Yeah, that's a pretty easy story. Trust me when I say this, Billy. You hate this card. You don't want to see this card. This card is the worst card in your entire deck. But you know what? You do want to have the chance to get your deck off of the ground, see what the combo lines can actually do, and you should be pretty good to go. But it's kind of like the Dragon Link experience. You either go down the path of wanting to play the driver with the Meteor Dragon, or you don't. And I think that a lot of this method has kind of changed. I don't think this build has been the dominant one for a while. But it does prove to me, once again, people want to try this out. Definitely seems a lot cooler than some of the other piles that we've had. Next up here, we have our Unchained version. Now, I think that the Sangan has been holding itself in a lot of these builds for a little while. I do like Sangan a lot. I think that Sangan, absolutely insanely good card when you do get the chance to see what it does. Alright, let's call it what it is at this point. This little goofy goober here definitely does help out the deck. And I also say that we are playing the Necro Banshee in here for the Zombie World stuff. Well, crap, zombie locking the really stupid decks is pretty good. Outside of that, we have Exceed Encores. We're not playing any Tact Talents or anything like that in this build, so I obviously then put in the Exceed Encores to make sure that you can handle that. I have nothing else to say about this list. Everything looks about the way that I feel it should. And then, of course, somebody didn't get the memo. Somebody missed the opportunity to play the Barrier Statue that everybody else was playing. Now, End of Anubis is actually kind of cheesy. I mean, while it's face up, it's face up on the field, all effects of spells, traps, and monsters that target cards in the graveyard or that activate in the graveyard are negated. We've seen Sprite was playing this thing a long time ago. It's extremely good. I see that we're still doing the cheese with the King Tiger Wang here. We also have the Invaders of Darkness in here as well. Yeah, you're doing the same mean stuff that this deck has been very notorious for having access to because Fiend, Beast, Fiend. All of this, especially the Barrier Statue also being Fiend, all of these engines that can kind of float together here and have that level of synergy help out a lot. Alright, and it's, once again, gas, how much can the engine actually pay off for the deck? Well, the answer is a lot, actually. And our last list out of this event is actually our Tier Elements list. I see that the Shyama is seeing play here. I do think a lot of the list have definitely headed towards Shyama. It it helps out popping the face down card, rotating into something. You dead draw the Tribby Karma. Well, congratulations. You know, you can go ahead and rotate it off. Now you're getting into the other things you need. Main decking the Heartbeat to handle a lot more of these aggressive, terrible things that are happening in the meta. Yeah. I like this list a lot. It feels very, very good. It definitely takes advantage of a lot more of the one-ofs that you see, and it looks like it flows relatively well. That is your breakdown for the Refined Gaming Case Tournament. Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.